Zoom.
Oh no!
Ready?
Woo. Oh, hello, time travelers! I just made a paper airplane. Came out pretty good, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little fancy. Trying to get it to fly really far. Like really, really far. Like maybe across an ocean. That gives me an idea. I want to share with you all about an amazing woman whose name was Amelia Earhart. Amelia Earhart was alive a long time ago. Sorry, I need to fix where we're time traveling today. It's a little chilly. I needed to make sure I dressed appropriately. Actually, let me put on my gloves while I'm talking to you. So Amelia Earhart was alive such a long time ago that they didn't have planes like we do today. We have these ginormous planes that can fly us around the world. But when she was alive, they didn't have those things. Sorry. They didn't have planes that big. And I'm sure from your morning with Miss McLemmon, you know that she traveled very far in a small airplane. Not one of those big airplanes that can hold a lot of fuel to keep it going for all the time. So, Amelia Earhart was an aviator and a pilot. So, let's hop in our time machine and travel to the time of Amelia Earhart. Let's go. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh my word, time travelers. That was a fun one. I had to take my gloves off. I could not fly the time machine with them on. I'll just have to bundle up. It is so chilly, my friends. Woo! Brr, do you feel that chill in the air? Woo! Give me a frog in my throat. It looks like we're right where we need to be. We are on an airfield, like a runway. Now you're probably saying, our Professor McBubbles, that is not a runway. Well, when Amelia was alive, runways were just dirt. Can you imagine the bumpy landing on that plane? So we are going to start in the late 1800s, which is when Amelia was born. And she was born in Kansas, a state in the United States. So she was born in 1897 in Kansas. Now, she was born in Kansas, but a lot of her flights happened from Canada, which is north of us, up above, right above America. Now, Amelia Earhart was an American aviator who set lots of flying records. And she was a champion in the advancement of women in aviation. So a lot of women did not fly when Amelia started flying. So she really encouraged and helped give publicity to women who wanted to be an aviator or pilot. She became the first woman to fly solo, that means alone, across the ocean. And she was the first person ever to fly solo, alone, from Hawaii to the mainland of the United States. And then during a flight to Miss McBubbles can't talk. Oh, I got a frog in my mouth. It's just making the globe, which means she was going to fly around the world. Earhart disappeared somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. In our picture, you can see Amelia Earhart hopping in her plane. So, again, Amelia Earhart has so many wonderful things that we could add, but we're going to focus on 1932, or in 1932, when she became the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. Now, this was a great accomplishment because remember, they didn't have the planes we have today. In 1932, you can see that plane behind Amelia. It's a little plane, so not a lot of fuel. So as a pilot and aviator, Amelia had to use the winds to help her fly further. So it's a really neat accomplishment. Now you're going to notice on our timeline, a lot happened earlier on our timeline. So Amelia is right around the time of Walter Gandhi. So you can see Amelia on her first flight across the Atlantic as the first woman. Now my next slide has a map of how she flew across the ocean. Now this is where on the left you'll see it's Canada, and she flew from Canada across the Atlantic Ocean to Ireland. So it is up there near Greenland. It was certainly chilly. So you can see Amelia after her flight when she returned home. And then on the bottom, Amelia in her plane. Amelia was such an amazing woman who had so many great accomplishments. I know that many aviators today still look up to Amelia. Amelia had many things to tell people with all of her accomplishments. One of her quotes that I'd like to share with you is, "To worry is to add another hazard." Now, Amelia could have worried that her plane wouldn't have made it across the Atlantic Ocean. But if she worried, it would become a hazard, which means it would become trouble. So she said to try your best not to worry. So because to worry is to add another hazard. The next one just shows what a kind-hearted woman Amelia was. And it says, we need a time for love. So very much like Gandhi and Ruby with their quotes on love. We need a time for love. So her love and her passion was flying. So always make a time for people who you love or a passion you love. So there's Amelia, and our last picture is of Amelia in her aviator gear. Now, a lot of our pilots today don't need all that gear because of the planes that we have. I know this was a chilly trip for our time travel, but I really hope you enjoyed it. Now, go back to your travel guide. Right, this is Amelia. Add her special date. Think of one of her many character traits and why you chose that character trait. And then you can color in Amelia Earhart and add one of her quotes. Thank you so much and have fun flying today.